Air against the Braum. So Jin Air with a good draft so far, and I think that both these teams have finally gotten out what they learned from Game 1s and Game 2 and picked accordingly. This is what we expected. A all-out close matchup in Game 3, and I think that's what we're going to get.
Yeah, I'm definitely favoring Samsung a little bit more. They've shown some better results. They are on the blue side. And we've seen what Crown's Karma can do just for supporting his team. Generally, you know, we see him on those more late game type carriers like the Victor, like the Orianna, but using that Karma to great effect. Obviously, Ambition gets his Gragas once again. Ruler has played Varus pretty much every time that he doesn't get Caitlyn, so obviously a huge comfort pick there. Varus, I think he is actually the most picked champion out of all the champions in League of Legends in LCK so far.
And you favoring Samsung in the draft makes complete sense. You got Karma that has so much pushing power topside. You have Renekton as well, crazy early game bully, and then Gragas, who's got great setup. When you combine it with Braum and Varus, the possibility of playmaking from Samsung is through the roof, while Jin Air relies so much more about getting that vision, getting Umti into the jungle and surprising Samsung. Because they don't have that crazy power, they're much more susceptible to getting ganked.
Taking one last look at the lineups here.
The late game from Samsung is going to be bonkers. The 5-man group, when you have all these shields and heals between the Athene's Holy Grail and Q and W or passive from Gragas, is going to be just so much. And that Q was from Renekton, whereas Jin Air lacks a true tank. So they're going to have to be getting ahead early and quickly. Otherwise, they will be mowed down by the death ball of Samsung's comp.
Yeah, definitely a lot of pressure here onto Jin Air after showing like they had in game number 2. So let's jump onto the rift for game 3 and see what they got. Will we see action from the get-go? Nope. Already a ward is put down, so I will be safe.
Yeah, 7 seasons into League of Legends, they have done a good job in minimizing the crazy snowball that you have off of level 1s. So it's all been tailored so that you don't lose all your marbles early on and the game just becomes a slow bleed out. It all happened with diminishing the value of the early kills, the experience that they give, the timers at which camps spawn, just so many elements reduced into that. The trinkets that everybody has those wards starting out. And we're going to see that pause to remind us that this is hype.
Yeah, the huge reminder, the pause.
Have you tweeted it out? That's what it should say.
So it'll give you time to do exactly that. Oh boy, someone just sprinted across the arena. We're getting the cameras on Ruler here, but nobody's dealing with his computer, as it seems to be an issue on Samsung side, although now someone's charging into the Jin Air booth. Okay, so it's a Jin Air pause. Seems to be sound issues. Perhaps Ixu. He went too hard on the Akali, broke his headphones.
Well, some players out there say that they play without sound. You're wrong. You need to play with sound.
You're just wrong.
You are wrong. You cannot play this game at the highest level without sound. Therefore, you must play with sound, as there are so many auditory cues in this game that allow you to experience things before they end up hitting you, and it's absolutely necessary. Also, don't play with music if you want to improve them. Those are some wicked headsets. It's like Tron is in his ears.
What is that?
Technology.
So enthralling. I was looking into the monitor, but unfortunately the game has started again. Oh man.
We can't lose our eyes in his beautiful headsets.
Looks like another similar kind of leash here. This is very, very common nowadays.
But you get Karma. God, what a beautiful leash right there. Hits you with the Mantra Q to top things off, giving you that extra help. And the bottom lane just, man, don't you wish when you jungled you got so much help? And Jin Air, they've read the book. they played accordingly. They pushed the wave, and now they're going to actually get to deny some creep. So great level 1 there from them. Oh, here's Gragas, though.
Yeah, and they land the Winter's Bite. Snowflower forced to exhaust here. Can they actually get a kill is the question. Trying to get on top of Snowflower here, forced in that, and there's that easy body slam. The heal, though, coming out, and the last auto attack, First Blood, does go over to Ruler.
A good order of Formaggio there for Jin Air as Gragas gets a level 2 gank onto the bottom lane, and doesn't have any real advantages to get out of this as his route is not in that position to invade.
Teddy with the leash here on the ground for
Just so next level. One reads the other, then they do a counter read and go for a level 2 gank right away. Could have all been salvaged had they not gone for the extra trade when they came out of the tri-brush.
Not respecting that Gragas from the jungle.
They still have their flashes between Braum and Gragas, so they can easily revisit bottom lane and pick on Snowflower. And the Tom Kents that is behind is an easy target, as so many times you want to see him be the one that you focus down. But if he's even, he's a little too tanky. But when he's behind, you can pop him in a breeze.
MD trying to make use of that isolation here on Kha'Zix. Ambition will spot him.
He doesn't have Smite, but doesn't know this. Here's Karma, though. Okay, so wisely he backs off, lacking pressure in the mid lane.
Nice trade here from Kive. Can definitely be rough to deal with the Kennen this early on as the Renekton. You can see even getting stunned, denying those creeps underneath the turret.
And the thing is, that lane shouldn't be this bad. But you wonder, why is it that Ixu just was able to play so damn far up? Well, the second they commit to that gank bottom side, Ixu knows that he has so much time before Gragas makes it back to the top side, so he can commit 1-2 minutes of just being relentlessly aggressive, and Renekton knows there is no follow-up, and that opens up a window for Renekton to be bullied in.
MD takes the Scuttle Crab there. Looks like both these, or no, Ambition did have the Smite, but didn't want to use it. Unless it was, you know, maybe a second away.
Yeah, it's just a Scuttle Crab in the lane that you know Renekton's not going to get dove, so not a huge deal. He'd rather save it for some more experience by going into that Raptor camp. Finally uses it, and we'll see where he chooses to use it next, as he has one shop in with that Hunter's Potion.
Looking for the other Scuttle Crab, I suppose.
Don't tell me he's going to smite that other Scuttle Crab. No, he's just saving it. Doesn't feel comfortable going into the blue side here just yet to get a gank, as bot lane and mid are pushed in, which means that they can respond quicker this time around. It'll just go down on the ground, or the Krugs.
Kive doing a better job farming underneath the turret this time around. Looking for that same trade onto Ixu. Nice stun by him to make things a lot harder.
I believe we can tell what Jin Air's game plan is going to be, and it's all going to be on Ixu. They had a great way of enabling him and allowing him to use his advantage to a snowballed victory, and now that he's got a significant CS lead into the top side, I expect Jin Air to use that well.
Braum waiting silently in the brush. Can't get anything going here against Ruler. They knew he was nearby, as there was a small support fight for that blasting plant earlier on.
The teleports do get used between Ixu and Crown. So now Kive, he'll likely have to use his. He doesn't want to fall too far behind in the lane. He knows what happened last time. A misuse of teleport into the bottom side ended up being a huge advantage for Ixu's Akali that resulted in him falling behind in CS and levels more than he could have ever imagined. And that really snowballed Akali out of control. And with another ninja that can get out of you, out of control so quickly, then you got to respect it.
Kive actually getting turret aggro. Forces the slicing maelstrom from Ixu, but he can slice and dice his way back to safety. Ambition coming on in here is going to run into Umti, force to flash the wall. The insta-flash from Umti, looking for that follow-up kill.
What?
And there it is.
That's the same thing he did last game. Remember game 1? Where Ambition goes in, body slams over into Krugs, gets collapsed on right away, did the exact same move, and the exact same collapse happened. While it wasn't Ixu, was there, which would have happened in game 1 a couple of seconds later. And he does so and ends up giving a kill away to Kha'Zix for free. And I guess we're going to look at it again. Here he goes. Yep. Oh, boy. Whoopsies, he's drunk.
He's not really sure where he's going.
Is that my house? I thought that was my house.
Crown already able to do some chunking there with the Mantra Q. Ambition is nearby. He's almost level 6.
Yeah, luckily, he's Gragas, so he always has playmaking opportunities. It's just that the way you play him when you fall behind means that you gotta be a little bit like Rek'Sai now, where you're not a tank. And a behind Gragas is definitely not a tank, so he has to be playing extremely cautiously. And he might have a window of opportunity here on the mid lane, because while Kuzan does have blue buff, he is at half HP.
He's got the health pot ticking, but you can see just how carefully he's taking this. Nice dodge on the Mantra Q. Gragas still going for just full clear right now. Looks like maybe he wants to... Let's see where he does go. Will he just go recall or go for a gank?
And I think this game is actually about to take the turn where we saw Jin Air play against Ever, and they stalled out the game after they made that crazy bots play into the bottom side where they lost 3 people, and then they just stalled out until 50 minutes. And I think, unfortunately, that might be the plan that they want to go through right now. Now that Ambition is behind, they recognize how quickly Jin Air was able to snowball last game, so they obviously have to give them respect. And if they just stall out to super late game, the death ball will be more than a match for what Jin Air can pack, as Kha'Zix late game is not really a big threat when you don't have targets that can isolate individuals and not a main tank to be the initial soaker.
Yeah, so it's definitely up to him and perhaps even Snowflower to go with him and look for picks early on, especially. You know, you've gotten a small advantage. You have a kill on that Kha'Zix already. You need to put on pressure before Samsung is able to get to that point in the game where they really want to be. Exactly.
They need to start taking advantage themselves and cracking down some turrets. And Rift Herald seems to be the obvious choice here, as a gank might be in order for Ixu.
You can see nearby is actually doing the Scuttle Crab. They're going to go on to first here, Ambition will.
Wait a minute, Ambition, what are you doing?
He's isolated, but he's going to get that cask down. Cuvée not close enough. Looking to try to go 1v2. Gets stunned up, and no kills for either side.
Ooh, that was close. It was a close 1v1, but I believe would have won out in the end, as he still had another charge of Void Assault and could have procced that passive. Chose to disengage, as Crown was collapsing faster than Kuzan, just the benefit of being Karma and wave clearing so effortlessly.
So, no further kills.
But going back to what you were saying, that Jin Air has to take the advantages sooner between Snowflower and and while they can do that with the Abyssal Voyage, they're kind of glued to the bottom lane, and getting the advantage that you have on Ixu, getting a turret or getting that Rift Herald and finding a way to get some turrets will be a great way for them to do so. Without Void Assault, this will be not such an easy gank on Crown, though.
He does have both of his summoners easy flash away from the Shockwave. At least they will get that summoner out of Crown.
And now they can revisit the lane when Kha'Zix can find another way to sneak in, and he's been scouted as Ambition tries to make his way around them, but without Crown being able to collapse, this does switch pressure over to Jin Air's bottom side. Unfortunately for them, the first dragon is that cloud, so they can choose to either solo it quickly and go with the roulette of getting that next dragon, or play it safe, go topside and start getting some leads there. And for the sake of this game getting exciting, I want them to go topside and start trying to get that Herald.
Yeah, get something rolling, you know. Try to take out a couple of turrets, because once you get one of those tier 1s, generally the others fall in turn pretty quickly.
Their vision is insane around that red side. Double control in River, 1 at Dragon, 1 at the Pixel Brush, and then triple green, 2 at Raptors and another 1 at Red Buff. So Kuzan's very telegraphically hugging that side of the map, but without control, this gank on mid's not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, really nice ward placements. by Samsung to get around those control wards that are pretty shallow, as you mentioned, especially for Crown. Just backs away.
Oh, he's going for it again, but he's got vision. He knows it's safe to do so. He's got tons of wards around him ready to go, and even Crown motioned to the top side to look for this assist in case Ambition were to be in trouble.
Okay, here we go. Ixu pushing on in. Ambition is not spotted. Stun comes out from Ixu first, though, as the flash stun coming in. There's going to be that cast for the easy setup into the body slam. Slicing Maelstrom, though, the double stun. They really need to get that kill. And finally they do before MT can come to help.
And finally Ambition finds a way to make his home of the Krugs and turn it into a death trap for Ixu as they surround him. And now they're poised to aim for this tier 1 turret. Kha'Zix can't defend too well when this next wave comes around, but because Kha'Zix is topside, now Samsung's bottom lane can go even harder onto the Xayah that has no mana enough to follow up on a crazy engage. So Samsung gets a lot more from this play than is seen. This is why your junglers typically don't cover lanes, as it gives away too much information.
We're just getting another look at this. I mean, really nice follow-up to flash on in and be active with the stun from Nectin. Sets up the easy cast body slam.
And I think the only way he had a chance of getting out of this one was actually running through the river and maybe flashing over into the blast cone, but even Crown was motioning towards the top side, so it would have been incredibly difficult to get out of that, because you then have to deal with Gragas flash slam and ultimate, then you have Renekton, who did a great flash Ruthless Predator. Oh, wait a minute. There's a dive attempt.
Speaking of Ruthless Predators, Crown, okay, flash from Snowflower will dodge the Chain of Corruption, but that will be first break going over to Samsung in the bot lane.
That was all enabled from Umti having to cover the top side. His route made it a little bit too obvious, and Jin Air, this is the fault that we see them do so many times. They have an advantage on one side of the map, but somehow they decide to go with the opposite side, and it yields never anything for them. So the vision in the red side just did absolutely nothing, whereas Samsung's top side vision, they were able to make a play out of it. You set up vision to make a play. You don't set up vision because you just want to look at your opponent and say, I found you. You're not paying, it's not peekaboo, it's war.
That got intense really fast, Crumbs, but you're definitely right. I mean, need to make a play with the vision. Don't just let it sit. You could see, speaking of plays, 4 members of Samsung up towards the top side.
He showed himself on the creep, though, as pings immediately flood the map.
Looking for a counter here.
Oh, God.
Xayah even making her way top. Here comes Tom Kench.
Snowflower's in range.
Okay, Abyssal Voids, where's he going? Behind Cuvée, they want the kill onto her Nectin.
Secret Agent Ambition. He's out.
He's just getting out with that recall. No one checks the brush.
What?
Okay.
All right.
The fat man in the brush cannot be spotted. And that does mean that the Gragas is not in position to defend, but it is okay. Nice wave clear from Cuvée. Meanwhile, a Ruler was just in bot lane, not near the action.
So lots of pressure to this top, so they're finally looking for possibly transitioning into a Rift Herald out of this. You can tell by the immense vision control they have on that side.
Yeah, and the fact that everybody is moving up towards that direction as well. Both of these teams really want to put the pressure towards that big objective. No one really cares about the Cloud Drake.
Yeah, this could be one of those games where dragons are not taken, and it's what initially was suspected when the rework came around, where you're thinking, well, why do I want the Cloud Dragon if it's the first one? Do I really want to invest so much effort into this bottom side of the map for potentially getting a game with only movement speed early on? Not the biggest advantage, and ever since Rift Herald actually became a worthwhile objective of immense proportions, it's completely understandable for teams to either utilize this early dragon to just get a fight going, or simply ignore it for the entirety of the game and just go for Herald and go for towers.
Looks like maybe Umti is thinking about it. He's hanging nearby looking for the Scuttle Crab. Cuvée will challenge. Umti doesn't look comfortable to take this, especially with Ambition coming on in, and he gets close enough to get stunned. will lead the way. That's just going to be the Scuttle Crab taken by Samsung.
He's just wasting his own time there. The more he continues to show, the worse this bottom lane for his team is going to go. Samsung's Ruler and Core JJ can continue to push and harass from afar, and now that Karma is joining up, they don't have a way to engage into this dual lane.
Looks like the Karma just went top, cleared a ward, and headed back towards mid.
It's the nightmare that is mid lane Karma. It's just push, 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 assist your side lanes, and then when the team comes around, you just speed up everybody, and Ambition's not going to be in trouble here.
What about Ixu, though? Does get the double stun on both of these members. Is a bit squishy. Here comes Umti and Kuzan looking for that shockwave. Can they actually land it? Really just trying to bait it out. They do get the double flash, which is quite nice. Here comes Crown trying to get that leash, that tether onto Kuzan. Stun lands up to Umti, and a huge chunk from the Karma Q with the Mantra will pick up the kill.
Oh, this is just not Umti's game today. He's being so off by showing himself so many times and picking up fights that are just not worth it, while Orianna can collapse quickly, and she does so before Crown. He ends up making it. They try to look for that shockwave, but intelligently they flash out of that shockwave together, and now the dual lane from Jin Air suffers even more.
Yeah, you can see even the amount of damage that's coming out here. The Feather Storm in the wrong direction, just kind of really scared of dying, and forces even the exhaust out of Snowflower to keep himself alive.
Anytime that Umti shows on the map, this is what's going to go down into the bottom, and it went down before, and now it's happening again. Kuzan's trying to collapse, but he doesn't have shockwave. There is no real danger of him, as Karma's shield can just get them out of that pickle immediately, and Samsung now taking this game a lot more seriously than game 1 or game 2.
Really meticulous with the way they're playing this one. The small micro movements throughout the map. And we're getting a replay. Ixu in a bit of trouble, and Umti, they get the advantage with the double flash, but then you just have to back off and run away. But Karma gets there in time.
He gets a little cocky there, getting in range of QV to get stunned. He still had his flash, but you never expect mid laners to just do so much damage. And contrary to so many of the popular Karma builds, which we see with the Athene's Rush, into even an Ardent Sensor, Crown's all about that AP this time around, even more so than before. He's full AP Karma, and the damage you get out of that Mantra is insane. While you don't have crazy cooldown reduction to spam multiple, if you just make sure that you combo it when your team that is so heavy in crowd control ends up locking anybody down, you're guaranteed an immense amount of burst.
Meanwhile, Rift Herald is picked up by Samsung. The very last minute, by the way, with Baron about to spawn. 5 seconds left. And even though it was spotted by Snowflower, nothing he can do. Umti, meanwhile, taking the opponent's Raptors.
I always love when Rift Herald goes down right at the end. Just, I didn't forget about you. Still made it on the plane.
There's that damage coming out towards Kuzan. Crown not holding back. They're looking to get onto Umti here. Chain of Corruption not used.
But the danger in this siege for Samsung is that while they have tremendous poke, they can easily zone out between Karma and Varus, and even Barrels and Winter's Bite. The only way they can truly stop the wave clear is if they commit Unbreakable right as Orianna's about to hit the wave. That does open them up to get teleport game.
Okay, here we go. First hit from the Rift Herald. Gonna head bash that turret. You can see the rotation from Bob, but QV's here. Still not confident enough to stick around with the Rift Herald.
It's an angry Herald thinking that turret's Italian.
Oh, man. That poor footballer. One wrong move his entire career.
You know when that happened? Well, I think he's a coach now. He's like a well-respected coach.
True.
But when that actually
overdramatic for me.
There's not going to be an engager. Zaya is not here, so just shockwave to clear.
Yeah, there's the Unbreakable trying to take down this turret. There's the Chain of Corruption. Snowflower forced to flash back so that he does not get killed, but they will miss, or rather lose, that first mid-tier turret.
They had confidence going into that. They commit the Unbreakable, so the shockwave has to be behind because Zaya's not there. But going back to that game, so when that actually happened, I remember playing this Flash game where you would be playing Zidane, and you'd literally be headbutting an endless horde.
I think I know that game,
I don't remember the name of the Italian player, but literally just non-stop would come at you, and you just have to press one key only.
You got to line it up.
You only had one button, which is headbutt.
It's like a rhythm game.
Oh, man. I think that's my first exposure to memes way back.
Actually looking to force this fight as Umti is coming on in, but easy slice and dice for Kive. Good reaction. Get away from that one.
When you think about the implications, is Ixu really going to be face-checking you if he didn't think there was any follow-up or any backup being there? Unlikely. So no need to take that trade, especially since you don't have minion priority, and you'd be getting wailed on by 6 creeps and a little cannon. No chance of trying to actually take that fight, so wisely he does slice and dice out of there.
With the Baron now up, we can see Samsung doing what they usually do, just team effort going into the red side jungle of the red team, wanting to clear out all the vision as possible and get that deep vision in. Some teleport wards as well for Kive from bot.
The wards for Ixu are really far if they want to look for an engage here. And between the speed that Crown can give, an engage is unlikely to happen.
Yeah, not even a commitment here from Samsung. Playing it really slow, as we expected. Meanwhile, trades down in bot. Blade of the Rune King just going to help Ixu escape, but definitely loses that trade.
Now that he blew his dominance, once Ixu gets back into the lane, he might have a small window of opportunity onto Renekton, but he's not going to let that happen. Stops the recall, or at least threatens to stop it. And as such, now there's no chance of the teleport gank from Jin Air. And this is what we were talking about in the draft. If Jin Air does not get ahead early, if their lanes just don't completely dominate, they're not going to be able to engage in this 5-man. As long as Samsung stick together, Deathball, and there are no wards for Ixu to teleport behind, the chances of an engage that goes well are relying completely on Umti finding a way to jump in and be an invisible ball carrier for a 5-man shockwave. And here's a teleport.
Teleport coming in. All of Samsung moving away. Canceled teleport. And they pick off the ward that he was teleporting to. So no more teleport here for Ixu, and a big rotation by Samsung into the mid lane. Trying to respond here is Jin Air. They will clear that wave pretty fast.
And that's a complete tragedy for Jin Air because they're skipping steps. All they need is one good engage. They don't need to find the engage right now. They still haven't lost a base. They absolutely just need one fight where they can get the right angle and commit to it and then wipe out Samsung. But if they pull the trigger too early, they lose on that teleport right now. And now the window is going to be much later down the line. And with this Baron being online, Samsung will have no issue transitioning into this and taking a fight head on.
Yeah, and I love the patience from Samsung too. This is why they're so good at setting up these late game situations and slowly eking out that early advantage they got. They just rotate into mid, they rotate down into bot, they force a mistake from Jin Air, then they rotate back to mid, they force the Abyssal Voyage, and then they're like, okay, you're out of stuff to respond to our rotations. Let's just go back bot and take a tier 2 and back off.
It's full-on Anaconda mode. They're strangling out the vision, so they get desperate. The harder they fight, the worse it becomes. So they fight. They take a poor opportunity, which is what Samsung would be looking for, and now the advantages are even more. So when they come into this Baron side, clean out the vision, they know that they don't have to worry about Ixu for quite some time. And so much about League is putting your opponent in a position where they're going to make a mistake. It's like a weird online jiu-jitsu.
I guess that's one way to think about it. Oh, that ward is actually not spotted. The controller does not deny that one.
Well, there you go. Use that bot, everybody. Look at another way to abuse vision with control wards into the back of the pit. Get the exact pixelation down.
Well, we know these games aren't the most exciting. We've only had 4 kills in 26 minutes. It's no real big secret that this is what Samsung does, especially when they have this kind of composition.
Well, compare to last game where we had a under 30 minutes Akali pentakill.
I guess it's kind of hard to follow up on that one.
Yeah. Now they're going to have to commit 2 control wards to the back of Baron. but that does deny them the ability of getting more control into that red side.
Slow and steady wins the race here for Samsung. They've just put Cuvée down in bot. He's got a small one-level advantage on Ixu.
And that slow and steady pace has now allowed Ixu's teleport to come back up, but they're not phased by it. Where the hell is he going to teleport? Just straight on, and trying to go straight on into Karma, Varus, and Gragas is not an easy thing.
Ambition with the gymnastics on the Gragas. Forces the leap flash body slam to safety as he got himself out of position.
They're still trying to get control of this red side, but they don't have deep enough vision to feel comfortable rushing a Baron. Their Baron damage isn't very high between Karma and Varus, even though they have a couple of seconds, probably in 15 seconds, they could knock it down, but there is going to be that Mountain Dragon that comes up next, so they can decide to play it even later, and then the time that they can go for it becomes much shorter, and their vision, as in turn, can be shallower before they start it.
I think that's definitely the play. It's going to be a while before that Mountain Drake does spawn, guys, so go ahead, grab yourself some popcorn, watch a little bit of TV, perhaps.
Actually, it's like a kill. It's 28 minutes. Do some math here.
You want to do the math? I'll let you do the math.
It's about 7 minutes a kill.
Okay, you almost did it again.
Yeah. I learned
7 kills a minute.
I learned from my mistakes. That'd be a crazy pace to a game. Not Samsung Jin Air, and this is what we thought would happen. Two teams notorious for their late game, and now here they're at it again, playing on that late game.
Yeah, we got a little fight here, but I believe the Root King will push Cuvée back. And I remember Samsung Jin Air last split in spring. It was even worse because Jin Air wasn't actually all that good.
Yeah.
Like, they would just delay the game. They wouldn't really play like Samsung and just sit back and farm and deny vision and really, Anaconda, strangle your opponents. They'd kind of just get behind early game and then make the game take an extra 30 minutes.
Well,
so it was kind of hard to watch those two in spring. I have to say even this game is better than the spring games they had.
Who else is going to carry on with the spirit of SK Telecom S, where Easy Hoon pioneered the 70-minute Ziggs games?
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's that full AP penetration build from Karma, as now she's going to do even more initial burst once she finishes that Luden's Echo.
It's like almost true damage onto Xayah at this point.
Even though they're almost completely thorough with denying red side vision, I think they'll still wait for Dragon before they start going for this Baron. They just want to have the ability to rotate between these two turrets. If they can crack them down, the Baron becomes that much simpler for them to take, as it allows the vision to go deeper and making Baron easier whether you have Mountain Dragon or not.
There's another chunk. I mean, Teddy, he's eating both sides of the Mandrake. He just can't walk at the Karma. He's opening himself up to get chunked like that. You just have to sit back. And it's part of the reason why Samsung will easily take that top tier too.
It's just such a similar dilemma to Game 1, where Jin Air has this composition that cannot find a way to engage without a proper tank, without the ability to find an individual target and single them out, as there is no instant crowd control on their side. They're stuck at the mercy of Samsung's mistakes, and this is why I was thinking that they had to ban out the Gragas, a champion that serves so well in both the engage and disengage, and has been critical for Ambition and Samsung's success, and they let it go through and once again paid dearly for it. And that's actually not even going to be a Luden's for Karma. It's going to be a death cap.
Okay.
So the shield
going
strength,
for that scaling.
The shield strength is even higher now.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty ridiculous, especially once it gets to 6-item Karma. He's farming very well, just like Kuzan is on the Orianna. Both of Kuzan's Orianna games have just been kind of sad, where his team gets behind and he goes 0-0-0. Hold that thought, though. We got a 2-on-1. The flash away from the body slam for Ixu. Can they actually catch up? There's the flash cast into the wall. The Abyssal Voyage, though, looking for that Devour. They're going to turn this around. Big shockwave, and they actually is able to eat up Cube here, who's trying to go 1v3. Slice and dices away, and does get away. Meanwhile, a fight in the mid lane. Ruler caught in a 1v2, does get taken down. And will Samsung continue this fight? Is going to eat up Crown here. Looks like Snowflower all alone will be taken out, but here's the big rotation. Teleport coming in from Cube, and this might force Jin Air back. Teddy up in front, really aggressive, looking for that root onto someone.
He still has ult.
Still has that ultimate, really threatening in the front line. MT going for the slow, and we do have Ambition all alone. Going for the the Ninja Gragas plays again. Can he go for the big escape through the jungle?
Easy. With Dead Man, he's going to give him the wrap around, easily escaping out of that situation. But even though the damage dealers weren't there, you saw just how tanky Cube and Ambition are. That's without Karma being there to protect them. And when Core JJ gets added into the mix, the Braum to enhance those resistances, they just don't have enough damage.
Okay, Umti caught, forced to leap away. There's the cast, though, into the wall. There is the flash to make sure that Umti can survive. That's going to be nice. Will they go for the Baron? We don't have Umti on flash, and he's extremely low.
There goes the Scrying Orb, so he has to stay and consider a steal, but he's very vulnerable to dying in one shot.
Will we see that Suicide Kha'Zix going on in? Big shockwave onto two members, but again, very tanky. Featherstorm coming on out, looking for that burst damage.
Oh!
They do get it with the Xayah! And the Kha'Zix jumping in, perfectly timed by Jin Air, and this game will continue.
That gets blown right open. That Baron could be all they need. Now that they have the split pushing Kennen, this stalls out even more, and with Baron, they're a little bit stronger. This could be all that was necessary for them to actually have a fighting chance, and so well timed. But what was Samsung doing? They don't want to risk the 50-50, but they pull back at 1.5K with feathers all over Baron?
Saying, here, you can have it. Okay, Cube, he's in a bit of trouble. Will get devoured. Can he slice and dice? There's the slicing Maelstrom. One form of that, but he will be taken out. And another advantage does go towards Jin Air.
Okay, they're still vulnerable in the 5v5, as that was a crazy play. Remember that Ambition hadn't even based out of that crazy fight into the bottom side, but here they disengage. Just, you gotta finish it at that point. You gotta risk it. You went out that far, you go all the way. You don't half-ass it, so Jin Air pull the trigger immediately and are able to walk away with a nice Baron for themselves. This could allow them to crack one of the turrets that they have yet to destroy. 35 minutes in, 0 turrets have gone down for them. So much standing gold is just waiting to hit their pockets. Their investment is about to make to be a reality.
Okay, Snowflower is going to be locked up. He is slowed for quite a while. Big shockwave, but the knockup from Braum here. Snowflower in a ton of trouble. Looks like he will be caught out. It was just Kuzan being a little bit too greedy onto that tier 1 mid that leads to Snowflower's death.
So greedy. So many of the plays from Jin Air have not been as a team. It has been individual plays, and while many of them have not worked, and some have, this is one of the ones that has not worked. The Snowflower gets caught out without flash. Oh, the chunk.
Chunk Aaron to Kuzan, but he's still alive, still able to clear that. And look at Teddy, he's beginning to pop off a bit on this Xayah. He's getting really confident. You could see that Samsung is giving him a ton of respect, and Teddy is using all that room to try to make stuff happen.
We have seen what late game Xayah can do, a champion that we don't really get to see go into that crazy late game, especially with similar builds. And this time around, I think this is the build that has been catching on, that Infinity Edge onto Xayah, the one that allows her to have that maximum amount of damage. And she doesn't have her Lord Dominix completed just yet. And frankly, even Lord Dominix might not be such a great addition. Both that one and the anti-healing would be effective, and she is going to be going with the one that mixes with the Immortal Reminder. It's just so much lifesteal and health back from the side of Samsung between Ambition, Crown, Cube, even Ruler with the Maw lifesteal and Blade. It's a good pickup.
Yeah, we definitely have a game here, guys. This is Ixu pushing multiple turrets. Now he took down the top tier 2. This cannon gonna stick around with the Baron enhanced minions, trying to push that in. Will the cannon finish it off? No, actually the turret does live.
It loses its juice right at the end.
Okay, trying to escape. Ambition not finding a cask target. Teddy with both summoners and the Feather Storm. Easy escape for him.
Now the plan is having Ixu split push again, but the same problem that they encountered 15 minutes ago remains. How do you get a ward in the backline of Samsung and find a way to engage that they can't just use Inspire and run away from you? There's a big wave pushing into the top side, but Jin Air will need to group and somehow find a way to brute force a ward around them. They can use Kha'Zix to do something, but Teddy's getting greedy.
Okay, he's moving forward into the chain of corruption. Snowflower looking to be the hero. Looks like he will save Teddy's life. Lots of damage coming out onto Crown on the backside from the Xayah, but getting frisky is Teddy.
Big hero play there, just barely getting in range to devour Teddy and then flashing out, not giving Ambition a chance to go for an engage and cast Tom Kent into the team, which would have surely spit out Teddy into the middle of the battle.
Ambition has grouped up now. Just going with 4 members in mid, 1 in bot. And the bot lane is very pushed too.
And you can tell just how confident Samsung is in this group formation, that even though Crown was about a 20% HP, they're trusting that the Ocean Dragon is going to be enough regen for them to stay in this push. If they can do this for another minute, they'll be able to secure a position for the Elder and maybe even crack down this turret, although it is unlikely, as again, they have to commit Unbreakable to stopping the ball if they want to stop the wave clear, and that makes them susceptible to getting engaged.
Oh, okay, Abyssal Voyage, they're looking to make a play onto Cuvée. 3 members of Jin Air, but they don't commit. And finally, okay, now they're deciding to commit after a bit of hesitation. There's the Slicing Maelstrom, the Slice and Dice from Cuvée, the easy turnaround here from Samsung. Ixu in a bit of trouble, the Shockwave not going to land. And now Braum up in the front, forced to jump away. A very back and forth fight, no one will go down.
That was initially a fight that was so in the advantage of Samsung, just by numbers. Gragas wasn't there, such a critical member for this composition, and neither was Xayah. So in the end, they walk away, but they get critical summoner spells out of that one. Both Ruler and Crown lost their flashes, and that's going to be imperative in this next battle. 1 minute until Baron, 30 seconds for Elder. If they can get a good Shockwave here, if Umti can find a way to be a ball carrier, jump onto the backline, this could be what Jin Air was looking for.
They're taking another look at this. So you can see lots of slows, and they begin to back off, but then they're like, wait, no, we can go for him.
Yeah, they finally commit to it as they see that Samsung responds. They're wondering if Samsung's going to commit to pushing instead. So a second they see them respond, Kuzan does so as well. And that great Shockwave, getting those flashes out, can be the deciding factor for this game.
Going back into live now. Elder Drake has spawned, 20 seconds for Baron.
Oh man, my heart is pounding on this one. Look at that, there's a QSS built already onto Snowflower and Teddy, so they're less likely to get blown up.
Making use of that. Looking for an engage is both of these teams, although admittedly more defensive and passive is Jin Air. They still are down about 7,000 gold.
The items are just about to be there for them. They just need to take a good fight and blow up the carries, destroy the carries, and the damage is no longer there for Samsung. So the game plan is there. Is it achievable? Yes, but is it extremely difficult? Absolutely.
It is doable. Maybe a couple more plays with the Abyssal Voyage could definitely help out. Jin Air still being strangled out a little bit, getting their buffs taken away.
There's vision on Elder, so they would be aware if Samsung were to start it, but critically enough, since it's a two-carry comp, if they start the Dragon or Baron right away, it would be really obvious because Ruler and Crown would have to be there.
Oh, the stun here onto Braum, has to jump to Ambition. Glacial Fissure off the back of that. Ixu still poking. We have this Kennen definitely doing a lot of attack damage at this moment in time. Ruler going to get the better of that trade. Ixu forced to dash away.
It's a good ultimate to get out, but they're still in a tough situation for the Engage. They have to protect their carry so well, and now they don't have the inside track to the mid lane. This could be Samsung's inhibitor, and they're going to take the opportunity. No wave clear available.
Yeah, it's just Umti at this moment in time. Ruler stepping very confidently up with that red buff, poking at that turret. It is going to go down to the red buff, and a nice little move by Samsung nets them another turret.
Trading that ultimate for the inhibitor turret. Jin Air needs to find a fight now. If they don't make use of what they are getting, they will be receding in their ability to win these fights. The items are pretty much there. They don't really need much more damage. They already have what they have. They've got Void Staffs and triple Mortal Reminders, and here's the Elder that gets started, but oh, they have no idea.
It's only 3 members in mid. Immediate pings, though, it looks like they see, you know, you've only got 3 members here. Where could the other 2 be? Especially because it's Ruler and Ambition, the jungle and ADC. Immediately, they're going to go for this Baron. Will we see a steal? It's going down extremely fast. No. Ambition and Ruler are going to stick onto the Elder Drake, and they will trade this.
What an amazing intuition from Jin Air. They read the play right away, and so the trade goes through. The Elder is going to be a 3 stack, so it's big for Samsung, and now they're making a beeline onto the mid lane. There is no turret to make this defense that much easier, but with Elder, are they comfortable taking this fight? I believe not. Elder is so powerful.
They might just have to give this one up. Will they engage? No. Down it goes. Teddy was late on the recall, too. He was busy clearing top. And I even saw a ping on him as he was recalling, funnily enough.
So it shouldn't mean too much. They can stall out for a significant portion of the 5-minute inhib down with Baron, as it's still a fresh Baron taking around the same time. But for top side, this is going to be tough. They have a lane, a TP ward in the lane. You can see where Ruler is standing. That's the ward that they would be looking for. So if Samsung is to siege top side, which they're not doing right now, they would have to wait for Inspire to go down before they go for the teleport.
An interesting situation in the bottom lane because there's a massive wave pushing, and they were required. Someone had to go back and clean that up, or else we could have seen a lot of tier 2 turret damage.
And this is cool. We're going to see a couple of items that will make a difference, actually. It's going to be the Guardian Angel out of Umti, and Kuzan is hinting towards, I hope that's a Zanya's and not a Banshee's Veil. Banshee's does make some sense as well, but both are going to make a significant difference in disengaging from Samsung and avoiding a crazy dive from them, as cast can be avoided with both those items, similarly with a Chains of Corruption. So both would be great choices here from Kuzan, and in this next fight, he's basing. I don't believe he has enough gold for it just yet, so no, he does not have it.
Not quite.
Samsung sieges bottom, so they know that there was vision in the top side, so going with a new place to siege means that the chance for the depth of a ward is no longer.
Ooh. Okay, I mean, we're here at full items for both teams. Chain of Corruption misses. Cask misses. Lots of ultimates down here for Samsung, but we see Ixu is still in mid lane pushing. They're confident in just clearing the wave, and Samsung can't push. That means that Ixu looking for another turret in the mid lane.
They're perfectly fine doing this. When it comes to sieging, Baron will always trump that Elder. Here's Ambition trying to do something, but you can't catch Ixu that easily. And Umti as well has his Evolved Leap, so easy for him to disengage. And Elder is now off the table, so Baron remains. This is why so many people typically prefer Baron over Elder. So it was Samsung getting outplayed that ended up losing them that Baron. They now were able to capitalize, get that inhibitor, but we might get a fight.
Now Tongue Lash onto Kive. He is now significantly slowed. Ixu from the left side does get the double stun. Glacial Fissure, though, is really nice to disengage for Samsung. Can they continue disengaging? Crown and Ruler on the right side. Can zone them out for quite a while, but now here we go. Ixu with the big speed up help from Kuzan. Kive is going to turn it around onto Ixu, but they're still not confident to take this fight. And there is the shield, the multi-shield from Crown to get everybody out of danger.
And Ixu can continue to play that aggressively because not only is Tahm Kench right behind him, but the carries aren't there. You know he's not going to die to Gragas and Renekton and Braum. He's so tanky, he's so capable of defending himself between Blade, Phantom Dancer, and QSS. On top of the Mallet and pretty much every item helps for protecting against situation. And now they're going for a siege, but This is risky as they don't have the best siege composition.
Oh, they got Goose on there. But he just get eaten up by that Tom Kench. And I was thinking, the Zhonya is probably going to help out, especially because Snowflower is going to be on saving Teddy duty. But Teddy does have that Feather Storm.
So I actually think the Banshees might be a better purchase here, as both give AP, but just considering that the Zhonyas, if you get hit by anything, you are still going to be in a position to die, whereas getting a Banshee stops so many important abilities. The Gragas engage, all of them are going to be easy to dodge with a Banshees, and just don't get hit by Barrel. Braum shouldn't ever be hitting you with a Q, and same with Varus. It's a little easier to dodge since you're so fast, so getting away from the initial poke from Crown as well as the Chains of Corruption engage will be critical, and that will free up Snowflower to look for better targets to devour, such as Teddy.
Yeah, definitely helps against... Oh, hold that thought. Nice Devour from Snowflower. Saves the life of our boy Kennen, and that means no flash here for Ambition for an engage in the future.
No flash and no cast. It's that big disengage. Cubase coming from the side, though.
They're trying to force it here onto Teddy. He uses his QSS, actually, and so will Snowflower. They're going to follow up with that engage, and lots of low members for Jin Air means another inhibitor will go down.
Jin Air is not in that position to defend this turret, and Samsung plays it well. They force out so many Devours. Remember, if Xayah is in the belly of someone, she can't be dealing damage, and as such, she gets heavily poked by Ruler and Crown, and forces to disengage. Now they're waiting for this inhibitor to come back up. You see those crystals forming right there again. They're going to be looking for the same thing, and Cask is still not available, but will be up in around 10 seconds.
They back off right when the inhibitor spawns. Lots of healthy members of Jin Air looking to challenge this. They won't give this one up for free. Every summoner is available for both these sides except the flash for Ambition. Ixu always threatening from the right side. Gets chunked down there by Ruler and pops his slicing Maelstrom, and he's extremely low now. He's going to be forced back to base, and that might just be another inhibitor going over to Samsung.
The same thing that happened to Teddy happened to Ixu. They can't do this. They need to be going for a flank. It's been 15 minutes. They absolutely have to set up the vision and engage onto Ruler. He had proc that item. The Zeke's Herald. Herald from Ambition, where he bought that itemization, which is a great item to help these situations where you have few carries, and procs that extra crit and ends up just destroying Ixu's HP. Now, no wars behind. It's just so shallow, and it's all because Jin Air is failing to see where where Samsung's moves will be.
Samsung very confidently looking to push into this turret. You could see Ixu's in the bottom lane. I mean, he does have that TP, and there is one ward just below them, below Samsung. That's going to be the one ward he'll try to get to.
It's like playing chess. When you get to the top level, it's all about predicting what your opponent's moves will be and being in position to do so and reacting accordingly. They're not predicting which lane Samsung will go in, and as such, they have no vision. At least the ball is behind Unbreakable, so Ruler has to reposition.
Oh, Kuzan getting chunked down here. And Big Redemption will help out there, but Ixu still in the bottom lane, still with that TP. Hasn't popped it yet. Being very patient with this one. That turret is very low up in the top lane. He's still pushing.
If the turret goes down, Samsung will easily brute force this inhibitor turret.
Chain of Corruption does miss. Onto Teddy. Big Glacial Fissure, though, for the knockup will open up that turret to go down.
Baron is live now. So what will Jin Air choose to do here? There is no vision on the red side. They haven't been able to find a way to teleport, so it's obvious that they don't see that Baron is happening. They do have Scrying Orbs to find a way to scout it, but it's already too late.
Yeah, that's going to be the Baron going over to Samsung. No chance. And will they try to engage and stop the backs? That looks like the strategy here. They'll let Ixu try to take an inhibitor, but it looks like Ambition will get out in a sneaky manner.
Buy enough time for an inhibitor. A turret, yes, but inhib between mega creeps and an inhibitor and Baron empowered is not going to happen when you're just a lonely cannon.
Poor lonely cannon. Just get the turret, at least. So, a very, very tense game here. Samsung does have... They do hold the reins on this one. Basically, just that one inhibitor is left over And they have Baron buff now.
And look at the itemization from Teddy. Selling out the boots, ends up getting a rapid fire instead. Just trying to have as much range as possible, which is what the issue has been so far. Finding a way to engage onto Samsung. And this is disappointing to see. They still weren't able to push into the red side and find a damn ward for Ixu to TP to. The wards are so shallow.
Yeah, and that's not a, a support issue. That's a team. You can force a fight.
Here we go. Inspires out.
It seems like Samsung knows about this. They're playing very patiently. The big body slam onto Ixu does QSS, but does get devoured without doing much. The re-engage with the big body slam onto Kuzan. Down he goes, and that should be the end of this one here. Ixu getting pulled out. Teddy trying to be a hero by himself, and he will get devoured by Snowflower, but there's the stun. And Samsung trying to take out that inhibitor. All three inhibitors are now down. Cuvée looking to go for that TP on in. This will be the last two turrets. Trying to look for that kill onto Umti, but here we go. Looks like Samsung able to take game number 3. Will take a couple of kills on their way out, and down goes the Nexus.
Playing to their compositional strength, they do so well. A little bit of hiccups here and there, but an engage that came out of Jin Air about 40 minutes too late.